Welcome to the V Vibe. My name is V and today's vibe is a one-shoulder dress. Now, if you don't know what my channel is about, I'm a photographer and I love doing creative photo shoots. Most of my creative photo shoots are DIY outfits and DIY dresses, DIY accessories, headpieces, and so much more things. So a lot of questions come about on how I get these things done, how do I make it, where did I buy it if I bought it. So these videos in this channel is basically a dedication to all of those DIYs. So let's get started. The measurements you will need are bust, waist, hips, and skirt length. My bust measurement is 30.5, waist is 25, hips 35.5, and skirt length is 17 inches. The basic design I wanted was a one-shoulder dress about knee length. The back would be a corset closure that includes a zipper just to be sure it will open up enough. The total length open will be 12 inches. The width opening would be 8 inches. These are the measurements you'll need when you make your modesty panel. I will have a total of 5 pattern pieces, 1 front, 2 back, 1 circle skirt, and 1 modesty panel. Not showing, but we would also have to cut out a strap later. To calculate your circle skirt measurements, you'll first need to find the radius. You'll need this formula. Radius equals circumference divided by 2 pi. 2 pi is 6.28. Circumference is the waist measurement. Therefore, radius equals 25 divided by 6.28. Radius being 3.98. I'm just going to round that up to 4. For the bodice, the front will have 3 darts with 5.5-inch sides. The back patterns will be a rectangle with 5.5-inch sides and 7.5 inches wide. The modesty panel will be a rectangle, 13 inches long, 9 inches wide. This is because we added 1-inch seam allowance to the back measurements. Here's a quick way to figure out how much fabric you'll need. Fold over your fabric, measure your radius plus skirt length, and add a few inches for seam allowance. Minus 4 plus 17 equals 21. Double that and it is 42 inches. This means you'll need at least 1.16 yards of fabric for the skirt. I find that bodices usually take up to 1 yard. I bought 3 yards anyways because I will be making accessories. You will need the main dress fabric, lining, interfacing, measuring tools, pins, grommets, a hammer to help you put on those grommets, scissors, marking tools like chalk or pins, and rat tail cord for the corset strings. If you don't have rat tail cord, ribbon works fine too. Here's a quick clip of how I made my one-shoulder pattern. The top is flat and the right side is pulled tight, then a dart is made. And then the other side is pulled tight and a second dart. And to make sure this slight looseness is tightened up, I added the third dart. Then I drew the shape I wanted, making sure to add the armhole shape as well. The 5.5 inches for the sides were determined from making this front bodice pattern. flat. Clean up the pattern by straightening out lines and drawing out your darts. Here is the bodice pattern with 3 darts. The seam allowance is 1/2 inch all the way around. The sides are 5.5 inches long. I will be using a brocade fabric from Joanns by Yaya Cosplay Collection. Trace the pattern on the inside. I flipped the pattern around because I want to make sure it stays as a left shoulder strap bodice. Be sure to mark where all your darts start and the points. I also like to match up the marks with a ruler to make it easier to sew later. Then cut out the pattern. I like to cut out excess fabric from the darts. It helps it to make it easier for me. I leave about a few centimeters for seam allowance, and then simply pin it and sew it later. Cut out a rectangle for the back pattern. The sides will be 5.5 inches. The top and bottom will be 7.5, making sure to cut 2 rectangles. I will be lining the bodice. Not showing but is optional is interfacing, which I'll also be including. If you want interfacing and lining, cut 1 bodice pattern and 2 back rectangle patterns from lining and interfacing fabrics. The bottom of the dress is a regular circle skirt. The total length is 26 inches because the skirt length is 18 inches. That's including seam allowance, and I've doubled the radius from 4 to 8. I've done this because I want my skirt to be puffier. I want it to have extra fabric for creating pleats. This is completely optional, so if you want to keep it easy, just make a regular circle skirt. Now grab your circle skirt and find the fold. Cut it open. This will be serving as our center back. This fabric frays really easily, so I will be keeping the edges of my fabric intact by using my serger. If you don't have a serger, don't worry, this step is not necessary. This is how the edges look once it's completed. I hemmed the bottom of my skirt by folding it over and doing a straight stitch. If you don't have a serger, fold it over twice and sew it down. Just a quick note, but be sure to iron the hemmed skirt because it might be a little curly after you hem it. Let's make the strap for the bodice. Cut out a 2-inch strip of fabric. Take your strip of fabric to an ironing board. We will be folding it in half and then ironing it down. This helps to create a middle line for guidance. Fold over the strip to the guideline and then fold over again. Then iron it down. Pin the strip and then sew down the side. This will create our strap. To make the modesty panel, cut 2 rectangles on your main fabric. Make it 13 inches long and 9 inches wide. Also, cut one identical rectangle out of the interfacing. Place your fabrics in this order. First, interfacing. Second, main fabric, right side up. Third, main fabric, wrong side up. Then pin to keep the layers in place. Flip it over to the interfacing side. Mark 1/2 inch on the top sides. Find the middle point of the bottom and mark 2 inches from the outside. Then connect your marks from the top to the bottom. This is how you'll get the modesty panel shape. Sew along the lines and sew shut the top, leaving the bottom open. Trim the excess fabric and snip the corners, then turn it inside out. Iron until all the edges are flat. Top stitch all the way around. I closed the bottom with a serger, but if you don't have a serger, you can just fold over the bottom edges and do a straight stitch across. This is the result of top stitching and closing the bottom by using a serger. And there you go, that's your modesty panel. Okay, so all of the patterns has been cut out. Check out part 2 to finish it all off. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. If you have any questions, comment below and I'll get right back to you. I'll see you guys next time.